Xenoverse maps have been getting bigger and bigger, with Xenoverse 1 only focusing on the small walking space of Toki Toki City, and then Xenoverse 2 greatly expanded this by having Conton City's map be so big you can use vehicle devices, fly, use teleportations to cross the gigantic space, and even enter separate realms that contain other places like Capsule Corp, Frieza's spaceship with its entire interior space and separate rooms and everything, and of course everyone's favorite, Guru's house is in danger, go defend Namek. And from what we can see in Xenoverse 3's hub world, this new West City looks absolutely massive. It looks like it dwarfs Xenoverse 2 stage by a long shot. And Xenoverse 2 stage already had a bunch of creative features in it because of how big the world was. So what features are we going to get in Xenoverse 3 based on the map that made 10 years after Conton City? Hello everyone, it's me again, Steve Doja here, back to more Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, and I'm not going to give you too much of a rundown as to how Conton City worked in Xenoverse 2. I actually want to focus more on what we see in this trailer for the new West City in Xenoverse 3, because there's a lot of things. I don't think everything is going to be important, but there are a lot of things I do want to address when it comes to some of these buildings in the background. A great example is Majin Buu has a tower, so that means that there's obviously a new Majin hub world just like in Xenoverse 2, but we'll get to that in a moment. One thing that you can easily see in the trailer that kind of tells you how the hub world is going to be in Xenoverse 3 in general, or the open world, is that you can actually just fight in this same setting. I do want to remind you guys that when you are running around Xenoverse 2's regular world, you can't actually fight. You can just fly around, use vehicles, interact, etc. But you might actually just be able to fight in this one. Again, it reminds me a lot of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, because you could see that when they do transition to, I guess, the more gameplay looking parts of the trailer, that they are actually just both in the streets talking about, oh hey, you know, the challenger's up ahead, we need to go over and fight this guy, which means it's happening just like actually inside the game world and not like inside of a wasteland or rocky area or, you know, one of the preset Dragon Ball fighting locations. You might be able to just scrap in the streets. Who knows if this is designated to missions that take place in the city, or if this is available just whenever an enemy is around, or just you can just throw punches whenever you feel like it. And obviously, if you can fight in this actual world, that has insane potential in a multi-lobby scenario. Reminder, we do have multi-lobbies in Xenoverse 1 and 2. It'd be really weird for us to not have them in Xenoverse 3. And if you can actually fight people in it, you'll be able to get like lore-accurate Dragon Ball Z moments of people just watching two time patrollers, or I guess two Great Saiyan squad members just fighting each other. You know, one of them is going blue, the other one's going golden, and everyone's just standing on top of buildings or standing on the streets just watching. That's actually giving me like insane like Dragon Ball like Nexus energy. If any of you guys have played that Roblox game, you could genuinely have a full lobby of people just watching the most insane DBZ spectacle fight ever, and that would be so cool. But that would also be insane on the multi-lobbies like systems or servers, so I don't know if they would go that far, but it makes me curious how much fighting can you actually do in the regular world, because in the trailers we outright see them just taking combat stances in the city and talking about how the enemy is in the city. So there's a good chance that we will be able to just fight anywhere in the city. We won't have to load into like a parallel quest or a story mission before we could start swinging and firing Kamehamehas and transforming. Naturally, I expect Xenoverse 3 to have all the same movement methods around this open world as Xenoverse 2 had, because again, this is a massive open world. We're probably still going to have some sort of teleportation device that allows us to cross the city really quickly. Obviously, we'll have flight, we'll be able to run around. We might even get vehicle devices back, but I'm not so sure about that one returning, specifically just because they can increase the flying speed by a lot more in this game than it was in Xenoverse 1. Again, the vehicle in Xenoverse 1 literally only exists before you actually unlock your flying license, and even then, it's way slower than actually flying, unless if you're specifically using the Tao Pai Pai vehicle, in which case then it's obviously way faster than flying, but you can't actually fly when you use it, you just kind of sink to the bottom. I think they may remove the vehicle mode entirely, and one reason why I think of this is because they're probably going to take a lot of inspiration from Dragon Ball Z Kakarot's version of how to explore a big open Dragon Ball world. A good example is Kakarot obviously has a really fast like baseline speed when it comes to characters moving around the world, because they really know that the world is absolutely colossal, and if you want to cross it, your characters are going to need to be faster. The flight speed is ridiculous. If anything, it's lore accurate with how fast you go, and even when you're running on the ground, you can just activate some sort of super sprint that allows you to get to places quicker. So I do think they'll probably remove the vehicle mode entirely, but they will keep obviously the teleportation, whether it be a device that you use or you have to go see a robot to do it again, or Or maybe when your character just learns the teleportation skill at some point in the story, you'll just be allowed to start fast traveling wherever you want. Because I want to remind you guys, it's probably not just going to be West City, it's probably going to be other locations too. Like in Xenoverse 2, how you can go over to like a smaller branch of Capsule Corp, you can go over to the Namek area, you could go over to Majin Buu's house, Frieza's spaceship, Hercule's place, etc. I do want to mention that in the Xenoverse free trailer, you can see a bunch of buildings that have like named references to Dragon Ball stuff. Now, I'm going to just get this out of the way really quickly. I don't think all of those buildings are going to have some sort of major significance inside the game. Like, I don't think the Ozaru building is going to let you turn into a Grey Ape or anything crazy like that. As much as I would like giants to be in the game, but if we're following Xenoverse, most likely there won't be any giants, especially because it'd be hard to customize and balance and etc. But since Sparking Zero was able to recently implement them, I'm hoping that the Xenoverse devs get the bravado to add giants to the game. I mean, obviously they'll probably still add giant orange form because they already had giant Namekian in Xenoverse 2, and then orange form can also canonically go giant, and we know obviously they're saving it for this game, which is the only reason why it didn't drop for Xenoverse 2. So there's a chance we might actually get playable giants, especially because Saiyans have their tails again. At least we see a Saiyan with his tail, which, you know, we'd never got in Xenoverse 1 or 2, even amongst NPC Saiyans. You know, in hindsight, the chance to be giant is there, but look, I don't think it has anything to do with the Ozaru building, okay? I just wanted to mention that some buildings aren't entirely important. However, ones that I do want to focus on are stuff like the Majin Buu Tower and the Capsule Corp Tower, because I imagine that these different towers are going to be where you do, like, you know, the main stuff you did in Xenoverse 2, where you go to a mentor, you hang out with them, you learn a transformation from them, you do submissions for them. A good example is, I'm very sure Capsule Tower, or not the super mega giant Capsule Tower, but the Capsule Corp Tower, is the one where you'll probably train with Vegeta to unlock the other Super Saiyan forms. Maybe it'll just look like a giant gravity chamber because that's literally where Vegeta lives. I don't think you even see Vegeta inside of a room other than like what, the Android 13 movie? Like, does he even have a room inside of that house? And Majin Buu's room is actually really cool to see because I want to remind you guys, in Age 1000, Majin Buu disappears. Like in the actual canonical online Dragon Ball Online Age 1000, he just disappears. He produces the Majin race because he has a wife, which we might actually see in this game also, which is absolutely nuts to think about. And then he just kind of disappears midway through the timeline, and people are obviously looking for him. It's like, you know, Modular Yuji, we need to find Majin Buu. Like, you don't see Majin Buu in Dragon Ball Online, but he is alive because he's immortal. So it's actually nice to see that he has his own tower. We'll probably see if Majin Buu changed it all in the giant span of time, and if his wife will actually be a character, because remember, that's the canonical reason why there should be a Majin race in the Xenoverse timeline. If Xenoverse is taking the same inspiration from Dragon Ball Online, the only reason we've been able to play Majins in Xenoverse 1 and 2 is because they're all Majin Buu's children. Maybe the lore is different now because, to be fair, in Xenoverse 2, when you're helping Majin Buu out with his quest to unlock your special Majin transformation, he is just kind of self-generating these children. He's not like, he doesn't have a wife or anything, but still, it'd be really nice to see Majin Buu's wife in an actual, like, modern, full-on, high-budget Dragon Ball game, because that would be really nice. Maybe they'll even change the design a little bit. Who knows? Man, this game really gave itself like the coolest amount of potential to work with by setting itself in Age 1000. That was honestly a god-tier marketing move. I mean, yeah, Dragon Ball Online has basically always just been getting its husk used to like fuel Xenoverse 2. But this is one of the coolest options they could ever do with it, because taking the game into the far future gives them access to all of these things that we didn't have before, especially because we have all this extra lore like Daima stuff now. Like the demon race is obviously going to get their own tower or their own like mentor area to train in, or the Glint race, whatever you want to call it, right? Either way, there's just so much cool stuff to do in this game, and this is about even seeing like an ounce of like actual proper gameplay, by the way. Just from the presentation in the trailers alone and seeing these separate towers and locations, it just gives you this really, really cool idea of how the game is going to unfold, and I cannot wait to see more of this monster, man. I also want to give a section to some of the smaller stuff that you can also do around the city, because obviously we're going to get like another tournament location, because we have one in Xenoverse 1 and 2. Two places where you can go to specifically to go to interact with the world's tournament events and any missions or characters that pertain to that region. Obviously, the most important one is in the title of the game, the Dragon Ball Altar. That'll probably be on the highest peak again. Well, not the highest peak, but like in the middle of the stage. That way it's just really easy to access. And I'm very curious to see how Shenron's going to look in this game, because Shenron will just be looking clean in every Dragon Ball game, bro. He is the titular Dragon Ball character, alright? He is the Dragon Ball. So I'm very curious to see how Shenron's going to look, and I hope the wishes are at least like, you know, pretty like cool, because the wish system, not going to lie, is kind of like weak in Xenoverse 1 and 2, to be honest. The only thing you want to do is like the first 2 wishes to unlock all the extra skills, and then a few wishes to get yourself to like level 80 or 99 before they raise the level cap to some ridiculous degree. Maybe the level cap will already be kind of silly at the beginning of Xenoverse 2. The level cap might just start at level like 190 or 199, 200, because that's where it's going to end when we get the last DLC of Xenoverse 2. It could go that far, who knows. And of course, mentioning level cap reminded me of Whis, and remembering Whis reminded me of the other mentors in the Xenoverse games, because you guys have to remember, it's more than just like the people you train with to unlock new transformations. You just have mentors who exist around the world in general. It's always been like that since Xenoverse 1, and the same thing will obviously happen again in Xenoverse 3. So you obviously have Goku chilling in a certain area, Vegeta doing the same thing, Tien, Android 18. Heck, there's going to probably be way more mentors, because if you think of the mentor counts in Xenoverse 1 to Xenoverse 2, they added way more people like Zamasu, Bojack, all of these other insane like characters. Frieza, Cooler, like what the heck is going on? Bardock 16, you know what I mean? So we'll probably get even more characters as mentors. I wouldn't even be shocked if we get some weirdo like Goma as a mentor or something, because I want to remind you guys, Xenoverse 3 is going to probably have Goma as like a launch day character, or maybe like the first DLC pack. Who knows, man? He'll probably have like just his big modes, like the buff Goma, then his giant form, because realistically they can just add giant form to any character that does own it. It'd just be a very simple moveset change. So it makes me curious, how many, oh god, there's so much they can add to this game. I mentioned this earlier in the video, but the potential for this game is genuinely scary, because they can just add so much. I want to remind you guys, Xenoverse 2, in a year and a half after Xenoverse 1 came out, not even after Xenoverse 1's last DLC, after the game came out, added so much more stuff. So, and Xenoverse 3 coming out 10 years after Xenoverse 2 came out? It's not even crazy to say that all of this stuff is easily possible. Man, we also have stuff like the skill shops and all these other locations where you can just like buy stuff. We're probably going to get QQ banks for this game as well, which I'm completely okay with. I'd rather not have my fit like decide my entire stats. That's kind of evil. I would like QQ banks to obviously make a return in this game too, and it most likely will, because it's one of the better features. They even updated it to be 6-star in Xenoverse 2, so it's not something they're going to forget. They will include it in Xenoverse 3 as well. There's probably going to be another training school area with Elder Kai. Hopefully they either, 1, actually introduce key cancels as a mechanic in that game when they do that, or 2, just get them out of the game because nobody likes them, they suck. Speaking of things that suck, Hero Colosseum shouldn't make a return. Now I'm just kind of ranting, but Hero Colosseum should not make a return. I think they should realistically know people don't really like it, but unfortunately Hero Colosseum is one of those modes that they did actually add more updates to. I know it's been unupdated for like 4 years now, but at the time of it coming out, they did update it quite a bit, so they might actually think people are a really big like fan of it and just keep adding more stuff for Hero Colosseum, but please don't. Please don't. Conton City TV honestly probably should make a return. It'd just be nice to have a bunch of time patrollers gathered up in one area to just see exclusive stuff like releasing, or to just see like cool billboards, like, you know, just moving around. Oh, but they do have billboards in the trailer. So maybe we won't have Conton City TV. Maybe we could just kind of stand anywhere and just watch any cinematic or trailer or cutscene going down. Maybe there'll be a general big TV, like, you know, Times Square or some shit like that. They'll probably have something cool like that where people could just gather up and just look at big screens, show all the newest stuff. Reminds me that we're going to have side quests inside the map as well, because Xenoverse 2 and Xenoverse 1 both had those, where you can go to places and talk to time patrollers and see their stories and, you know, fight people and beat them up. We'll probably get another Frieza raid kind of thing as well, where you can just fight enemies like inside the city as they're invading or something really, really cool like that. I would really dig that. Like, if it's not just a sky map, I would really like if you could fight in the city. Obviously, destroying buildings is probably going to be something that they save or, you know, not do for the game, because that'd be insane. Unless there's some cool time patrol feature where you can destroy buildings and at the end of a fight, it shows the buildings being like digitalized back in place, because, you know, whoever controls time is just like, oh, let me just put these back for you since, you know, the fight got a little bit messy. I can imagine they would do something cool like that. But yeah, the possibilities for this game actually are never ending, and I think that's a pretty good place to end the video, because there are so much more things I could say about the big open cityscape, but I'd rather save all of my thoughts and feelings for when they actually show more gameplay. Again, I'm not going to say Steedo is always right, but I feel like I'm usually on the money. I haven't been wrong about like my last Xenoverse predictions for like the last like 2 to 3 years now. Pretty much everything I've said that would happen in Xenoverse 2 happened, and even me accurately predicting that this game is Xenoverse 3 also happened, and that one's kind of obvious, you know, I'm just saying. But I think that's a pretty good place to end the video. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, then obviously again, please leave a like in the video. Don't forget to subscribe, as it greatly supports the channel. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section down below, and I think that's all a place to end it. Again, I do love you all, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Take care, and peace, bye bye.